Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something real straight. In a world full of noise, chaos, drama, everybody trying to be louder than the next person, there's a rare strength in being calm. Calmness ain't something you're born with, it's something you build. It's like a muscle. You work on it, you earn it. Calmness is not weakness, it's control power. In today's fast-paced, high-pressure world, many people mistake calmness for a lack of intensity or ambition. They assume that if someone isn't loud, aggressive, or constantly asserting themselves, they must be weak or passive. But real calmness is something entirely different. It takes incredible inner strength to stay grounded when everything around you is trying to pull you off balance. It's not a sign of retreat, it's a sign of mastery. To be calm in a moment where others are losing control requires discipline, emotional intelligence, and a deep understanding of yourself and the situation. Calmness allows a person to pause, think, and respond rather than react. Anyone can explode when they're angry or frustrated. That doesn't take skill. What takes true strength is being able to step back, breathe, and hold your ground without letting your emotions dictate your actions. When you're calm, you're not suppressing your feelings, you're managing them. You're choosing your response instead of letting the moment choose it for you. That choice gives you power. It keeps you from saying or doing things you'll regret. It lets you move with intention instead of impulse. People who master calmness often have an unshakable presence. They walk into a room and shift the energy without raising their voice. They make decisions that are firm but not forceful. Their calm isn't silence, it's strategy. They're observing, listening, evaluating, and acting when the time is right. They're the ones who don't get rattled under pressure, who stay focused when others panic. In a crisis, these are the people others naturally turn to, not because they're the loudest, but because their energy is steady. Their presence says, "I've got this," without having to announce it. The process of developing calmness begins with self-awareness. You have to learn what triggers you, what environments bring you stress, what conversations throw you off. Once you know that, you can begin to prepare yourself for those situations. You can train your reactions like you train your muscles. You practice patience. You breathe. You learn to shift your mindset in the moment, to choose peace over panic, logic over emotion. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes. Over time, your calm becomes your shield. It protects your energy, your focus, your vision. What people fail to realize is that calmness isn't passive, it's active, it's intentional. It's not just sitting there being quiet. It's directing your inner world so the outside world doesn't control you. That's the kind of strength that changes the way you live, lead, and relate to others. Calmness lets you think clearly in conflict, make smart moves under stress, and maintain control of your life when it feels like everything around you is spinning. It gives you an edge, not by overpowering others, but by never let them overpower you. A calm mind sees solutions, where a restless mind sees problems. When the mind is agitated, filled with worry, fear, frustration, even the simplest situation can feel overwhelming. Small issues are magnified, decisions become harder, and every obstacle appears like a dead end. But when the mind is calm, it's like clear water. You can see to the bottom. You gain perspective. You stop reacting out of emotion and begin thinking with clarity. Calmness creates space between stimulus and response, and in that space lies power. That space allows you to breathe, analyze, and consider the best course of action instead of falling into panic or impulsive behavior. The difference between someone who breaks down and someone who breaks through often comes down to the state of their mind. Calmness allows you to be resourceful even in high-pressure situations. While others may get stuck repeating what's going wrong, a calm mind quietly searches for what can go right. It doesn't mean you ignore the problem. It means you see beyond it. A restless mind, clouded by urgency or emotion, focuses only on what's wrong, who's to blame, and what could go worse. But a calm mind goes deeper. It begins asking productive questions. What can I do now? What options are still on the table? Who can help? What's the next right move? This shift in thinking is what separates strong decision makers from people who simply react to life. In a crisis, leaders who maintain their calm are able to guide others, not because they know all the answers, but because they're composed enough to seek them. Their calm presence keeps the team grounded. Their clarity gives direction. On the other hand, someone who allows their anxiety to take over becomes a source of more chaos. Their actions, however well-intentioned, often cause confusion or escalate problems. That's why calmness is a practical strength. It improves not just your inner peace, but your outer effectiveness. Practicing calm thinking also allows you to stay solution-oriented. Life doesn't go according to plan. There are delays, rejections, setbacks, misunderstandings, and disappointments. A restless mind sees these as signs of failure, personal attacks, or evidence that things will never improve. But a calm mind sees them as information, as part of the process, as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. That shift allows you to remain in control. You stop trying to control the outcome and instead focus on managing your effort and attitude. It's a mindset that allows you to adapt, to reframe, and to keep moving forward, even when things don't make sense. The truth is, you can't solve problems with the same energy that created them. If your mind is in panic, you'll attract confusion. If your mind is angry, you'll attract resistance. But when your mind is calm, you invite flow, understanding, and insight. Calmness is the foundation for strategic thinking. It allows your intelligence, your creativity, and your instincts to work together instead of clashing. It helps you find the openings that others can't see. And often, the right solution isn't complicated, it's just hidden behind the noise that a restless mind creates. Calmness comes from discipline, not from your environment. Many people believe they need the world around them to be peaceful in order to feel calm inside. They think if they could just avoid stress, eliminate difficult people, or escape pressure, then they feel at ease. But that's not how true calmness works. Real calmness is built within. It's a product of discipline. It doesn't depend on whether the room is quiet or loud, whether the day is going smoothly or falling apart. It depends on the choices you make every single day to train your mind, manage your emotions, and control your reactions. Discipline is the foundation of calmness because it builds habits that keep you steady even when life is anything but. Discipline teaches you to pause when you want to explode, to listen when you want to argue, and to breathe when you want to break. That kind of control isn't natural, it's practice. It takes mental training to stay composed when you're being provoked, challenged, or misunderstood. It takes repetition to learn how to respond instead of react. People who seem effortlessly calm didn't get there by chance. They've learned to wake up early, to create structure in their day, to spend time reflecting, to set limits on negative influences, and to sharpen their awareness. These are all acts of discipline, and over time they create a reservoir of inner peace that doesn't get shaken easily. If calmness depended on circumstances, nobody would be calm. Life is unpredictable. There's traffic, delays, arguments, rejections, failures, and all kinds of unexpected challenges. You can't control that. What you can control is how you prepare yourself mentally for the storm. A disciplined person builds routines that ground them. They have a morning ritual that sets the tone for the day, whether it's meditation, journaling, prayer, exercise, or silence. They watch what they feed their mind, limiting negativity and focusing on things that elevate their thinking. They are intentional about how they spend their time, knowing that mental clutter creates emotional chaos. Every small choice they make adds to their ability to remain calm under pressure. Discipline also involves self-respect. When you respect your peace, you protect it. That means setting boundaries, saying no when necessary, and refusing to engage in pointless arguments. Calmness is not about being passive. It's about being selective. You choose where to place your energy. You choose which battles to fight. You choose to rise above drama, not because you avoid it, but because you've trained yourself to stay focused on what matters most. That level of discipline takes strength, and it earns you strength. The more you commit to your growth, the more control you gain over your internal world. People often admire calm individuals because their presence feels safe, stable, and wise. What they don't always see is the discipline behind that presence. They don't see the hours of self-work, the sacrifices, the habits, and the boundaries that created that calm. But that's where the real power lies, not in waiting for peace to come from the outside, but in building it from the inside through daily discipline and consistent mental effort. Learning to pause before reacting builds emotional intelligence. In a world where people are constantly reacting to triggers, messages, opinions, and stress, the ability to pause is like having a superpower. That brief moment between what happens to you and how you respond determines the quality of your relationships, your reputation, and even your success. Reacting without thinking is easy, it's instinctual, emotional, and often impulsive. But when you learn to pause, even for just a second, you give yourself space to choose a wiser, more thoughtful response. That pause is the birthplace of emotional intelligence. It's where maturity is formed and character is tested. Emotional intelligence is not about suppressing your emotions. It's about understanding them. It means being aware of what you're feeling in real time, recognizing the intensity of that feeling and deciding what to do with it. Without the pause, emotions take control. Anger leads to shouting. Frustration leads to quitting. Fear leads to avoidance. But with the pause, you can analyze what you're feeling and why. That small delay gives you insight, and insight gives you control. You begin to see patterns in your reactions and notice what triggers you, and that awareness is powerful. The more you understand your emotional triggers, the better equipped you are to manage them. People who develop the habit of pausing before reacting tend to make better decisions. They don't burn bridges because of temporary feelings. They don't escalate conflicts unnecessarily. They listen better, speak more thoughtfully, and maintain stronger connections with others. Their calm approach allows them to diffuse tension, to influence without force, and to lead with empathy. That kind of emotional intelligence is rare, but it's incredibly valuable. It makes you someone others want to follow, someone people feel safe around. And that starts with the simple but difficult practice of pausing before you speak or act. Practicing the pause isn't just helpful in moments of anger. It's equally important in moments of excitement, fear, sadness, or anxiety. Emotions, no matter how positive or negative, can cloud judgment if they're not checked. When you pause, you allow your rational mind to catch up with your emotional mind. You stop yourself from making promises you can't keep, from making decisions you'll regret, or from saying things that hurt people. It's not about being emotionless, it's about being emotionally wise. Emotional intelligence means you understand that feelings are real, but not always reliable when it comes to decision making. By pausing, you respect your emotions without being controlled by them. The ability to pause also shows respect for others. It gives you time to consider their perspective their feelings, and the possible impact of your words or actions. That level of consideration deepens trust and improves communication. You create space for understanding, which reduces conflict and increases cooperation. Emotional intelligence thrives in this space where thoughtfulness replaces impulsiveness and empathy replaces ego. The pause is where intention is born. It turns reaction into response and transforms emotion into wisdom. It's in that pause that you gain influence, maintain peace, and grow as a person capable of handling life with maturity and grace. Calmness allows you to lead with confidence, not chaos. Leadership isn't just about giving orders, making decisions, or being in charge. It's about how you carry yourself when the pressure is on. In moments of crisis or uncertainty, people don't look for the loudest voice in the room. They look for the most stable. A calm leader brings clarity to confusion, direction to indecision, and assurance to anxiety. When you remain calm under pressure, it shows that you are in control, not just of the situation, but of yourself. That self-control earns trust. People follow calm leaders because they feel secure in their presence. They know that even if things go wrong, this person won't lose their head. That sense of emotional steadiness inspires confidence, and confidence creates unity. Chaos, on the other hand, spreads like wildfire. When a leader is reactive, inconsistent, or easily flustered, the entire environment becomes unstable. People begin to operate from fear, uncertainty, or confusion. Productivity drops, communication breaks down, and the team loses focus. But a calm leader doesn't add to the noise, they cut through it. They listen more than they talk. They observe, assess, and act with intention. They don't rush decisions out of panic. Instead, they create space for strategy. Their calm presence becomes a stabilizing force for the people around them. And that steadiness is often what keeps a team, a family, or an organization moving forward during tough times. Being calm as a leader doesn't mean being passive or indifferent. It means being thoughtful, composed, and present. Calm leaders speak with clarity. They don't shout to be heard. They speak so people listen. Their authority doesn't come from fear, it comes from respect. And that respect is built on how they handle adversity. People remember how you act when things get hard more than how you act when things are easy. You can stay calm when the stakes are high. You show strength that words alone can't convey. You demonstrate that you can handle the weight of responsibility, and that gives people the confidence to follow you, even through uncertainty. Developing that kind of calm confidence takes practice. It means managing your emotions, being aware of your body language, and learning to slow down your thoughts. It's about not letting outside circumstances shake your inner balance. That steadiness becomes part of your leadership identity. Over time, it shapes how others see you, how they respond to you, and how they model their own behavior. Calmness becomes contagious. When your team sees you handling pressure with grace, they begin to mirror that energy. It sets a tone, a culture, and an expectation of excellence that is grounded, not frantic. Confidence built on calmness is deep and unshakable. It's not based on bravado or performance. It's rooted in the belief that no matter what's happening around you, you have the strength, the clarity, and the discipline to navigate it. You're not chasing control over people, you're maintaining control over yourself. And that kind of leadership not only guides others, it elevates them. The strongest people aren't the loudest. They're the ones who stay grounded under pressure. In a society that often rewards volume over value and noise over wisdom, it's easy to mistake loudness for strength. But real strength rarely needs to announce itself. It shows up quietly, consistently, and with purpose. People who remain calm, composed, and focused when everything around them is falling apart demonstrate a kind of inner power that noise can never replicate. They don't need to dominate conversations, overpower others, or seek attention to prove their worth. Their strength comes from within, built over time through experience, discipline, and the ability to stay anchored when life gets turbulent. Staying grounded under pressure means holding on to your values, your clarity, and your sense of self, no matter what chaos surrounds you. It means knowing who you are so well that circumstances don't define you. When things go wrong, when people criticize you, when plans fall apart, grounded individuals don't panic, they pause. They don't explode, they assess. That ability to remain still on the inside, even while the outside world feels unstable, is what sets them apart. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally stable. They feel everything, but they don't let those feelings run their life. They acknowledge the pressure, but they don't bow to it. There's a quiet confidence in someone who doesn't need to react to every opinion, every insult, or every inconvenience. They don't let temporary emotions control permanent decisions. That level of control is a form of strength that often goes unnoticed because it isn't flashy, but it's the kind of strength that lasts. It shows up in moments of crisis, when leadership is tested, when patience is stretched, when everything is on the line. And in those moments, the person who can remain centered becomes the one others rely on. Their presence brings calm, not chaos. Their energy grounds the room. That impact is not accidental. It's intentional. Grounded people usually have strong internal foundations. They know what matters to them. They've spent time understanding their purpose, their priorities, and their boundaries. They've trained their mind to stay focused, their heart to stay open, and their spirit to remain unshaken by the distractions of the world. They don't just react, they reflect. They don't get caught up in every wave. They stand firm like a rock in the middle of it all. This kind of strength is quiet but undeniable. It doesn't need applause or validation. It simply is, and it becomes a quiet source of strength for others as well. The world often overlooks this kind of strength because it isn't loud. It doesn't demand the spotlight, but in every room, every team, every crisis, there's always that one person who holds the energy together. That's the grounded one. That's the strong one. And what makes them powerful is not their ability to overpower others, but their refusal to be overpowered by the moment. Their calm is not the absence of emotion, but the result of deep control, self-awareness, and the ability to stand firm when everything else is shaky.